Hi, I'm Dr. Diana Bitner, Chief Medical Officer of True Women's Health, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about the New Year, New You challenge that we're doing here at True Women's Health. We're doing this challenge for our patients here at True Women's Health, and I want to talk about this on a wider scale and how we can all think about this as forming new goals for the year 2021. So I didn't want this to be just another trite, oh, new year, new you, what does that really mean? So I wanted to reflect on, again, what this really means. And I had to think, I see this as an opportunity for reflection. We can make things what we want them to be, but to really use this as an opportunity for reflection. And when we think about goals, I tend to think in pictures, and I think about picture of self. It's a real time to reconnect to our goal for ourselves. And again, like I just said, I tend to think in pictures. Some people think in words. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I spent some time reflecting about what does picture of self mean, and how did I come up with my picture of self? How did I get here? And so I think about going way back when I was a grade schooler at Mary A. White in Grand Haven. I used to watch this girl named Stacy. She was on the monkey bars. She could stay on those monkey bars longer than any boy. And I thought she was so cool. She was strong, she was capable, and she was very competitive. Those of you who know me, I'm not competitive at all. No, but I saw that as really attractive, and I wanted to be like Stacy. Then I think about Cherry Ames. Cherry Ames was a fictional character in a series of books I found at the church library. Cherry Ames was a black-haired, rosy-cheeked nurse after World War II. And as I read those books, she was the nurse who would walk in the room, and all of a sudden, she would light up a room, but you would just feel calm. Like the characters in the book just felt reassured. She would make everyone feel like it's just going to be okay. She inspired me to go into medicine. Of course, then I realized I could be the doctor and bring all of those elements to my craft of the art of medicine. I then remember seeing Lene. She was a girl at church. She had come home from being abroad on exchange student. I could just tell she had seen things. She looked smarter, worldly, wiser. And seeing Lene do that, I wanted to be like that. I wanted to see things. I wanted to be brave and experience things. And Missy has these pictures ready to show you. So this inspired me to go off to Brazil. So here's me in Brazil on my favorite horse outside the city of São Manuel, the horse named Black Whitey. This is me. I was a Rotary exchange student headed off to Brazil. Oh my gosh, what a picture. But I was so excited to go to Brazil and had the most amazing experience. I still speak Portuguese. And that trip showed me that with planning, I had lots of people encouraging and supporting me, but anything is possible. And so I had a great year there. Christmas, the next picture in Brazil, one wears white and a brightly colored sash. That's me, of course, having gained my 40 pounds that all exchange students gain. And then leaving Brazil as they're singing me the song, Oh, Diana, and I'm sobbing, not wanting to leave Brazil and my dear friends there. So seeing Lene helped me form that picture of self of me, of being brave and going abroad before cell phones, before the internet, off to a foreign country. Then it was college. Dr. Benson was my chemistry teacher, and I'll never forget, he was calm, he was capable, and he really cared. He noticed the small things, and he taught me to be confident in the chemistry lab. He would say to me, there's other people here as smart as you, but have confidence, make a decision, make it happen. And he really instilled in me to have that confidence in myself. And I wanted to be a teacher like him. My mom, Kathy, she is the picture of unconditional love, and she really inspires me to be a better mom and a better friend and a better doctor. Dr. Brazelton, I got to spend time with T. Barry Brazelton, the man, in Boston, in Cambridge, my first couple years out in practice, and he taught me never, ever, ever tell a patient what to do. He showed me what personalized medicine looks like. He taught me how when people have anger or passion, it's always there in response to fear. So we can become better providers, better doctors to patients if we can understand what they're scared of and how we can anchor that to get them to where they want to be. So he taught me the basis of waypoints, and we'll talk about that. JB, my dad, he taught me about his passion for process development. How can we improve process, improve quality care by having process around it? And he introduced me to the book Checklist Manifesto, and part of that was how then I therefore developed waypoints, which again we'll talk about here in a bit. And again, I think in pictures, and so I see this as a time for us to go inward. And I would encourage you to think about what has formed your picture of self, your goal of self, and to look at each one of those elements like I have and think about how does that form who I want to be in my everyday. I just thought it was natural that everyone had a picture of self. And so I would ask my patients, what is your health goal? What do you want to be like? Do you want to have a heart attack? Do you want to be overweight? Do you want to, and people would say, well, I'm just kind of dealing in the day to day. I'm dealing with my work stress, my kids, finances. I don't have time to think about a goal. I'm just kind of going along. And then I started seeing so many women who had developed conditions that were silent, let's say osteoporosis, heart disease, stroke, all these things that were happening, under the surface the whole time, but they were so busy in the everyday that they weren't looking at the bigger picture. And so I wanted to make a difference. I would sit at these women's health meetings and think, how am I going to take all this information and organize it in a way that we can take advantage? And so I first started thinking about the power of picture of self when, at a visit. So one day, I remember this, I was walking through the office and I almost ran into a patient. She was coming around the wall and so was I. And I was kind of startled, didn't really recognize her. And she looked at me and she said, "You don't recognize me, do you?" And I said, "Not really." And she said, "You saw me last year for my physical. You're going to see me again in 10 minutes. But she said, you asked me a question no one's ever asked me. You said, how do you want to be when you're 50? And she said, I really had to think about that. I didn't have an answer for you at the time. I thought, I want to be hot. She said, I want to bring in my next 50 years really feeling good about myself. So she broke that down to think about what that looked like. And she decided she wanted to be hot. And to her, that meant fit. It meant capable of running a 5K. And focusing on that mission kept her going even when she didn't feel like going for a run after work or early in the morning. It kept her from eating that extra portion and from being smarter about her diet. It drove her to take her vitamins. It drove her to make good decisions. And actually, it ended up being the source of strength that helped her get out of an unhealthy relationship and actually an unhealthy job. So by the time I saw her for her physical after her 50th birthday, oh my gosh, she was rocking it. She had run a 5K. She was planning for another. She had lost 30 pounds and she just felt amazing. And she said, if you hadn't asked me that question, what is my picture of self? She said, I would not be here like this. And so that just made such a difference. And so when I thought, okay, there's real power in this. How can I help my patients all be like she was? And so one year driving down to Florida in the back of the family van, I wrote a list of wellness, aspects of wellness. And so I want you to think about this waypoints. It stands for WAI, who am I? And the areas of wellness are here in front of you. A is your ability to be active. I'm a list girl, so I just made a list. B is obesity. C is cancer, diabetes, coping, you can read. And so it's all about in these 9 areas of wellness, how do you want to be? You have choice in all of these. So I like the idea of wellness as a sense of deliberate well-being. We're being deliberate about our wellness in these 9 areas. And so what came out of this was a pilot study. And, I had this image of women diving into, let's say, menopause with hope. But I saw so many women who were like, oh, why am I gaining weight? I don't feel good. I'm not sleeping. I'm moody. I'm irritable. Like, oh, I don't want to have sex. Like, this is not fun. I saw the opposite. I wanted to see women like, bring it on. I am ready. I know what to do. And so out of that came a pilot study. So we advertised, this was back in 2008. We advertised by word of mouth for women to come in, like if you're feeling any of these things, you're moody, you're not motivated, you're tired, you're gaining weight, come in and learn about midlife and menopause, and let's see if we can help, your wellness. It turned into a pilot study of over 100 women that came in for 5 visits over 6 months. We had a very organized way around developing their goals and then their risk stratification, again, in waypoints. Turns out it worked. And so at the end, we looked at all the data. Women lost an average of 2 inches of waist circumference. Blood pressure dropped. Everyone knew their wellness in all those 9 areas, and everyone had a plan. It was so amazing. It was really cool. And so that data was gathered, and I published it in the journal Menopause, and was very well accepted by my peers as, wow, this could be a way that we could really get women engaged in their health around the time of midlife. And so one of the patients from this is Madonna. I can share her story. She's been on with me many times, and hopefully she'll come back and tell her story with true stories. But Madonna was on a hike out west with her very active husband and 3 sons, and she decided, like, I'm the one who's huffing and puffing. I'm the one who's like, hey, wait up. And they're like, Mom, are you coming? And she's like, I did not want to go through the rest of my life like this. So she came back, she joined the pilot study, and oh my gosh, like that goal was what motivated her. And by the end of the pilot study, she was keeping up with her sons and her husband, no problem. And she has maintained that now 11 years later. So it's been such an honor to see how really getting into her head about what she cared about really helped her master all the symptoms of midlife and menopause, make really good decisions. And she's meeting her picture of self. Her place and process is the same as her picture of self. Other women, again, were able to overcome, let's say, concerns about income security. I remember one patient went back to school, got a master's, and then she was able to leave a job that didn't meet her desire for income security, and she was able to get a job that met her desire for income security. It really made her think about, okay, I have choice in this. I'm not a victim. I have choice in this, and this is what I'm going to choose to do. So, okay, you get your picture of self. If you're a patient of True, or you have our book or our workbook, you figure out your place and process. Where are you now compared to your place and process? And then if you're a patient of True, we develop with you a life action plan. So you have a life action plan. So now what? So one of the things we talk a lot about at True is the SEEDS. So on the back of our symptom circle, which it's on the website, but you can also let us know. We'll send you a symptom circle, if I can turn it correctly here, is the SEEDS. I think Missy's going to put this up too. But the SEEDS are the 7 essential elements of daily success. And so in our challenge for our True patients, we're going to talk about 12 weeks of learning to master your SEEDS. And this is all about getting in your water, your sleep, your vitamins, your fiber, your nutrients, your activity, and that mind-body connection. So these SEEDS are something that if, again, you're a patient of True, you can track these on your app. So you can track your SEEDS and then even see how they relate to your menopause transition symptoms. And on the side, you might see on the side of the talk here is that you'll see the links to these on our website. Also, you can download a free SEEDS ebook from our website, and this will give you a little bit more background information about the SEEDS. The SEEDS, again, are something that you can do to make your vision happen. We also write about the pilot study and the SEEDS in the book, I Want to Age Like That. This is the 3rd edition. So we're constantly improving, keeping this up with new data. And what came out this year was also the workbook. So if you're a patient of True, these are included in your membership, but you can also order these if you're out of state and want to order these from wherever you are. I don't know, Helen, if you're watching in Australia, but thanks for your support of the book. But we just love having this information available to people. I believe that this isn't rocket science. Everyone deserves to know that they have choice in how they age. And again, it doesn't have to be something that's scary. It can be something that we meet no matter our situation, no matter the people around us. It can be something that we, again, are going toward that picture of self and with hope and with joy. I really feel strongly, again, at True, we're offering a really novel way of practicing medicine. And, from tonight, if you're in the state of Michigan, we do telehealth. We would love to see you in our clinic, but also by telehealth, and really encourage you to use what we do. We can't believe we get to do what we do. The entire team of True is so excited. So again, if you're a patient of True, you would get to join our challenge and join our community of our team and our patients who are working together. Our private Facebook page has become quite active. Everyone's supporting each other. It's just been so lovely to see this very organic growth of community support among our patients. And so I just want to talk about how together we are stronger. And so in doing that, let's look at these several questions that we can talk about to further discuss this. And of course, if any of you have questions, if you're on live, feel free to put them in the chat. I can see those right now active. Also, if you're watching this after the fact and it's not live, feel free to put questions into our Facebook page, and we certainly will get back to you with any answers that we can. So question number one that I want you to think about is, number one, what did you want to be in middle school or high school, and why? So as I graduated high school, I was already very focused that I wanted to be a doctor. And so I did my research. How is that going to happen? What is it going to take? How much money is it going to take? Thankfully, that was back when med school was only $8,000 a year at Wayne State. So my student loans weren't crazy like they are now for med students. But again, it's what did you want to be? But not just profession. What kind of person do you want to be? We have choice. And then to really think about what influenced you. I love to write. I love to draw. So, for you, if that's helpful, to write all the aspects, and even to do some bubble writing, I like to call it, where you write down those little snippets of what you remember, how people impressed you back in the day, and to really think about how that informs your picture of self. So question number two, I want you to think about a milestone event. So we talk about this a lot at True in terms of having something to move toward. But again, sometimes people just don't think that way, and that's cool. We can form a picture of self without a milestone event, and we can think about moving forward into the future. But many people have that event, a child's wedding, a child's graduation. Forever, I thought about my son's graduation from high school. He's now been graduated 2 years. And that picture of self at his graduation party really drove me for years. It really kept me going when things were tough. It kept me going through times where I didn't feel like working out. But at his event, I wasn't perfectly my picture of self, but I was pretty close. And I then used the serenity prayer to say, what can I change? What can I not? But again, having that picture of self and having that milestone event really kept me going. It might be something that was negative that you want to turn around to the positive. I have patients say, I saw my mom have a heart attack, and I never want to do that to my children. I never want to go through that myself. And so let's flip that to the positive. I don't want to say, what is hard and focus on that. Let's say what is hard, and then we can flip it to how can we have choice and not have that hard thing happen to us or anyone else as well. And so that's how we think about that. Number three, what are your current habits? So it's important to go through the seeds and then make a list of what you're doing now. And we talk about, for example, water. How much water are you drinking? So it's not just how much water you're drinking, but to balance that out with coffee. So I love my coffee. I won't say I'm addicted, but I love my Peet's coffee. And so if I'm going to have a second or a third cup of coffee in a day, I make sure I have my extra glass of water to make up for it. So water is all about net water. How much am I exercising? How much am I stretching? So it's looking at all those aspects of our healthy habits that support us developing our picture of self. So super important. Number four is, what are your barriers? So I like to say that a barrier is something that we can figure out, we identify, we get around. An excuse is something you hide behind. I'm a victim, I can't, okay, whatever. A barrier means I've got so much going on, it's a challenge for me to think about when I'm going to exercise. I had a patient the other day who, she likes to get home from work. She really likes to have dinner with her husband. He's so lovely that he gets home before she does. He makes dinner. So the last thing she wants to do is say, thanks for making dinner, but I'm going to go get on the treadmill. So she's like, how do I still exercise and eat dinner with my husband? So we made a plan. And I said, it doesn't have to be every night. How about you exercise Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday? But maybe on Monday, Wednesday, you have dinner, and then you guys stretch together, you do yoga together, and then maybe you have sex after you stretch out and have yoga together. So it's like, how can you figure out to work that in your life? That's a barrier. You can work around a barrier. An excuse would be her saying, I'm too busy, I can't do it. Poor me. She didn't. She said, I have a barrier, let's get around it. Let's say that sleeping is a challenge. So many women wake up at 3 a.m. and they can't get back to sleep. So we talk about, what do you do when you wake up? So when you wake up, if we think, oh my God, are you kidding me? What happens? Our adrenaline goes up, our blood sugar goes up. If we can just say, oh, I woke up, I got this. Get up, go to the bathroom, do your meditation, do your gratitude practice that we talk about. Feel it calm down, go back to sleep. If that doesn't work, get up, do it again. So again, a barrier is you can't sleep. Then we figure out how to get around it. Maybe it's night sweats. Let's start some estrogen if that's safe for you. But it's all about, again, knowing your options versus, yeah, I guess I'm not going to sleep for the rest of my life. And because of that, I'm going to gain weight and then be cranky. No, it's not an excuse. It's a barrier. So again, it's so important to acknowledge those barriers and then make adjustments. Number 5, will you commit to doing seeds over the next 7 days? And record your seeds. So if you're able to commit to doing them, so it doesn't happen quickly, like maybe that you're accomplishing all of your seeds, but as you record them, you can say, oh, on that day I didn't do my seeds because I had a late meeting, and if I had planned, I could have worked out in the morning. Or I didn't bring my water bottle to work, and so therefore I could have gotten around it by. So it's just really being aware, and it's being conscious. Hey, Melissa, yes, barriers versus excuses. I miss you, Melissa. How are you? So it's really looking at having these seeds as a way, again, to get around that challenge and to stay motivated. When I think about motivation, I love Robin on Peloton, one of my favorite trainers on Peloton. So she talks a lot about motivation versus vision. She thinks about it the same way I do. Motivation, that's just frosting on the cake. If you have motivation, good for you. But not everybody has motivation every day. So some days I don't really feel like getting on the bike. So I might, like, oh, I don't want to do it. But that vision of me being fit, of me being strong, it helps me sleep better. My skin looks better. I have better energy. So it's the vision. It's my picture of self that gets me on that bike, not motivation. So again, it's thinking about what drives us. And again, I would argue that vision drives us more than anything. So again, I feel that together we are stronger. And in 2021, it's important to stick together, to share our barriers, to share what we're doing to get around those barriers, and even thinking about, again, options. At True, we offer FDA-approved bioidentical hormone therapy. We have the Mona Lisa Touch for painful sex if hormones are not an option for you or you would rather not take them. We have Ashley, who is our counselor. We have Anna, our nutrition coach. We're all around supporting you getting around those barriers and getting to your picture of self. So again, we hope that you join us at True. We hope that you have a wonderful new year, new you, and you're able to form new goals. So again, please let us know how we can support you and stay in touch here at truewomenshealth.com. Thank you.